tūtahi ke te mihi atu ki a koe ki koutou. Mō tātou timatatanga o tātou tēnei hui. Mō tātou karakia o wairua. Before we start our procedures today, I'd like to start us off with a prayer of unity, a prayer of harmony, the wairua o tini aitua. E honore he karore ki te atua, he maungarongo ki te whenua me te whakaaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. Hangaia e te atua e ngā kauhau, ki roto ki tēnā, ki tēnei o mātou. Ngā whakamoimiti whakapētai ki te hunga wairua i o tātou tēnei te kaupapa. Te kaupapa te rānei, tai mai nei ko tēnei wā, he mana ke tia mai o tātou tēnei wā. Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this special day that we have come together. May there be peace on earth amongst us all. May there be a unity of oneness as people of the lands that we have come from. We ask all these things to unite together. Ake tonu ake. Amen. Agatirati hae awa Māori ola. E ngā iwi, e ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā mātāwaka. Tēnei te mihi atu kia koe kia koutou. Nau mai, hare mai, hara mai, whakatau mai rā. Whakatau mai rā i roto tātou tēnei pare. Te pare āhuatanga o tātou tēnei te kaupapa. Kia koutou. Te wehenga o Ngāti Whātua, kia koutou katoa, nau mai, haere mai, haere mai, whakatau mai rā. Hara mai ki o tātou tēnei mana, te ihi, te wehe kia koutou. Ka puta mai o rātou tēnei wā, o tātou tēnei te tēpū, kia koutou, ai, nau mai, haere mai, haere mai, whakatau mai rā. Ta wehenga o Ngāti Whātua, ta wairua tapu o ngā tupuna whare a tumutumu whenua, e noho ana ki o rā kei. Huri atu ki te awa tāmaki, nā tā awa tāmaki huri atu ki te mona o te waite mata. Ta waite mata, mo ta roi mata, ta te moana, ka tūhau tēnei te pau, ngā te pau whakairo, ka tū ki te waite mata, ka tū ki te waite mata, kia koutou, ai, nau mai, haere mai, haere mai, haere mai. Kei te mihi ana ki a koe, ko ta tumuaki o ta he mana o tātou tēnei kaupapa, me koe ta tūhene a ven, kei te mihi, ki a koe e Rawiri, David, ke ara mai nei o tātou tēnei wā, o tātou kaupapa. Nā reira kia koutou ai, haere mai, whakatau mai rā. As I look around and I see the glare of people's eyes staring at me and thinking, what the hell is he saying? And so I say to you, welcome, welcome, welcome. I stand before you on behalf of the tribe of this land of Tamaki Makaurau, and I say to you, Ngāti Whātua, welcome, welcome, welcome. You bring your mana, you bring your waka, you bring your energy from no matter where you are from. And I believe there are some from overseas, welcome. And I believe there's some from overseas, like the South Island. Hara mai. Kia ora. Nā, tēnei wā, he just paddled. He sounded pretty tired from paddling up to Tama. And so I say to you all for this conference here today, that together, I'm sure you'll make yardage. I might throw my wallet in the middle of the floor, and financially it might come back to me pretty well looked after. or give it to my wife, it'll be empty tomorrow, but kei te pai, kei te pai. And so on behalf of Ngāti Whātua, can I say to you all, welcome, welcome, welcome. We'd like to sing our waiata, which follows our mihi. And our waiata is talk about my ancestor who had a dream. I think they're all dreamers, but had a dream, had a vision that there one day will come a wind that'll descend upon his people. And this wind will bring the wind of change. And the wind of change did come by the way of the sailing ships. And of course, the wind from the sailing ships brought a new way of life for our people. And here today I stand trying to speak in eloquence of yesteryears of the many great seamen who used to arrive in this country, and we have changed our way of life. Gone is my grass skirt. Not only because it was a see-through, but and so we have changed the way of life. And what he did say was he would stand his pou whakairo onto the waitemata, to the harbour, to remind we are here, we are here, we are here. And so I invite you, and I say to you, welcome. And while we're not beyond my marae in Orake, I welcome you there as well. So kia koutou tēnei te mihi, tēnei te mihi. Yeah.
He aha te ho, we wara mai, he tu he raki nana ia mai te pu tarake he ki uta e te ki nā tu e ho, te kochu ko ia te po whakairo katu, ki wai te mata, he hoku wairangi e. Kōkiri.
Nā reira, tēnei te mihi atu ki a koe ki koutou. Hape te hono tātai, hono rāta rungu matia rāta, as we bid farewell to those who have passed. And especially just over the last week in England, Queen of England, Queen of Us, moi mai. And to any of us who have families who have just gone recently, this week, last year, and we bid them farewell. And we turn back to the living, and I say to you all, no mai, hara mai, no reira, a tēnā koutou, kia huri mai no tātou katoa, kia ora mai no tātou. Too many noses, sorry.
Tēnā koroa. A big thank you to Matt Mihi and Connie Mihi for opening our conference. Well, we absolutely love that karakia and mihi and waiata. And to you all, good morning. Ata marie, tēnā tātou katoa, no mai, haere mai, and welcome to this Financial Services Council 2022 conference. Growing financial confidence and well-being in Aotearoa. And in keeping with our growing theme, you have two MCs today. I'm Vanya Thomas from Guardian Trust, and I'm sure David Ireland, partner at Denton's Kensington Swan, and former chair of Workplace Savings NZ, needs no introduction.
Thanks, Vanya. I'm honoured to be sharing the stage with you today. To you all, no mai, haere mai. Fantastic to be hosting our first in-person conference since 2019. It's going to be bigger and better with a veritable who's who of the industry. Now, this annual conference is a showcase for the financial services sector in New Zealand. It's known for its leading-edge content and speakers and provoking debate around the key issues affecting the sector. This year is going to be no exception. This year's conference attendance numbers are outstanding given the circumstances, with more than 500 attendees over the 2 days. So thank you all very much for being here.
And the 2022 theme reflects the FSC vision to grow the financial confidence and well-being of New Zealanders. It builds on previous conference themes, including well-being, sustainability and guardianship, and acts as our guide as we continue our journey through uncertain pandemic and economic times. And last week was Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori, Māori Language Week. There's a whakatoki, or a proverb, that brings together growing and recovering. Whangaia ka kupu ka pauawai. That which is nurtured blossoms and grows. And we're here today and tomorrow to come together as a community and to grow. And what a tonic it really is. And the whakataki refers to the importance of nurture as key to growth. Before we move on with the program, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge Queen Elizabeth II's passing. 70 years as Queen, 15 Prime Ministers, 200 portrait sittings, 10 days of mourning, and a 96-round salute in front of Parliament House to symbolise every year of Queen Elizabeth's life. And what an extraordinary life, and one that touched the lives of so many. Now, let's observe a moment of silence to acknowledge Her Majesty, the late Queen Elizabeth II.
Okay, thanks everyone. I'd now like to hand over to Rob Flanagan, the Chair of Financial Services Council, to take the stage to share a few opening remarks. Following Rob, we're going to have Richard Clippen, the Chief Executive of FFC, who'll provide some conference insights for you. Welcome, Rob.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou kata. Welcome to the FSC 2022 conference. It's been a long 3 years. I don't know whether they've been hard, but they've been very different. But here we are, face to face, after all that time, since, as already said, 2019. So my job is fairly simple. I'm just on behalf of the FSC board. The board is an interesting animal in the FSC, because in the FSC, no one like myself as chairman, I don't have a vote, nor does Richard, nor does any other team. So every decision is made by the board at the end of the day, or by the committees. And so this actually is part of our DNA. This means that we always are talking on behalf of the industry, not on behalf of employed employees with agendas, etc. So it becomes a very strong force, and the board is very active and fully involved. Also today, I'd like to thank the conference committee and the FSC team organising today. With a conference this size, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of changes continually, right up to the start and almost through the conference. And also the speakers and panellists, of course, deserve a big thank you. The professionalism of the FSC, its members, really has to be appreciated and admired. So we're very, very fortunate to have that support. So welcome today. We hope you get a lot of value out of the next 2 days, and I'll hand over to Richard.
Everybody, a very good morning, and so fantastic to see everyone in the room. Folks, just housekeeping, if there's any people standing and you actually want a seat, there's a bunch of tables here, here and here. It could be a long morning on your feet unless you're feeling like you want to get your steps up. You know, 2019 was the last time we were in a room together, and I very clearly remember the fantastic conference that we had. The kids from St. Thomas's School were doing the kapahaka performance, and it almost feels like another world, almost like another universe, in the sense that we're sitting here in 2022, and just in the last fortnight, things like mask mandates, all sorts of other restrictions have effectively been dropped. And it almost feels like the last 3 years feels like another country. But you know, it's not. It's actually filled with lessons, it's filled with opportunities, and it's filled with businesses and people in this room and outside of this room that have made a huge difference to clients, to businesses, and to the health and welfare of the whole community. So I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to reflect on some of those themes because, you know, in many ways life had to go on. And that life was filled with difficulty, it was filled with sadness. For some of us, it was filled with tragedy, but like I say, it was also filled with opportunity. So a very warm welcome to everyone who's taken the steps to be here in the room this morning. I just wanted to focus on probably just two thoughts. The first one is around the theme of this conference, which, as you'll see on all of the branding and all the livery, it's called Growing. And the reason why it's called Growing is that the board last year, to Rob's point, we brought a strategy change to the FSC board, which was around helping New Zealanders with their financial confidence and their well-being. So it became a very customer-led and a very purpose-led initiative, not so much about what can we do for the sector, but what can we do for New Zealand. Because if we do it for New Zealand, as a result, the sector will benefit. And so we've kind of been on a pretty kind of interesting journey where we've tried to think about, well, what does actually growing mean? How do we grow the financial confidence and well-being of New Zealanders? And I'm delighted the table right in front of me is going to be a classic example of that. We put a challenge out last year to kids right around Aotearoa to actually answer the question, why does money matter? And we'll see the results of that in a moment. But that's an idea of growing. Earlier this year, we've just come off our ISWA campaign, It Starts With Action. This was a campaign, a challenge, if you will, by the Commissioner, from the Retirement Commissioner, Jane, who said, can you help us with the financial capability and well-being of women in Aotearoa? And we stepped up to that challenge, and right across the country, right across organisations, large and small, for-profit, not-for-profit, in households and so on, we started the conversation about how do we help and become better with money? Because if growing financial capability and well-being is at the essence of that, helping people to make the right choices, we can have a collective responsibility. Because in this room and outside of this room lives a lot of that capability. The educators, the thinkers, the helpers, the people who are experienced, the product makers, the marketers. We collectively have a purpose, we have a mission, we have a mandate, we need to be able to help. And that's why the growing theme for this conference is all about growing. So whatever sessions you're on, whether it's on the main platform, and we're going to hear from a moment from Acting Prime Minister Robertson, or whether you're in one of the breakout streams or one of the breakfasts this morning, it's all about the growing idea. I just want to turn my attention just briefly to a moment on the resilience piece, because COVID, the challenge of COVID has been really difficult. But I've got to say, I'm immensely proud of how the sector stepped up. I remember in 2020, we were all in a completely new world. None of us really knew what was going on. It was almost the best endeavours. And I remember that we had lots of dialogue with government, with the regulator, and Minister Fafoy at the time was reaching out often to ask the question, how's the sector performing? How can we help? What's the temperature check of consumers around hardship and so on? And fast forward 3 years, you know, I'll just share with you some stats. You know, with the health insurance lens, we have continued to serve New Zealanders in their time of need. Over 1.18 million New Zealanders have health insurance, and in the 12 months to June of this year, we paid out just under $1.4 billion worth of claims. That's resilience in action. That's helping people in their time of need. In our KiwiSaver marketplace, 2.92 million New Zealanders have KiwiSaver, and with about $84 billion of total funds under management. That's a lot of assets, that's a lot of money, that's a system that needs to be nurtured and cared for. But that's a lot of people. It touches almost all of us who are in the workforce. And finally, within our life insurance space, there are over 4.1 million covers in the marketplace. That's not 4.1 million people having insurance, but covers. And last year we paid out, to the end of June this year, 1.2 billion in claims. So when you think about the impact that this sector has in the people that we serve, in the work that we do, in the claims that we pay, in the assets that we manage, in the advice that we give, we are part of the engine room of New Zealand's past, present, and absolutely future. And that's why conversations like the next 2 days are so important. That's why we have to keep reaching out and engaging with key stakeholders right across the community, because the financial services sector is not about money. What we've learned out of all of our research, Money and You, it isn't about money. It's about what it does for us. And that's a conversation that happens everywhere. Every household, every person, every business, government, non-government, and so on. And I think that's why it's so important. In closing, and I'm mindful of time, let me just pay tribute to some groups of people. To delegates, a huge thank you for attending. Turning up to conferences has always been a bit of a leap of faith. There is lurgy still going around. Sometimes it's COVID and sometimes it's not. But thank you for taking the leap of faith and joining us today. To our sponsors and supporters, and I might just invite the slide up, just a huge big thank you. Again, a huge leap of faith. You know, this is the third time we've tried to deliver this show in this place. And the last 2 years we've got within a month of the show and we went online. And to these organisations and supporters, help us financially to put on a show of this kind of quality. Absolutely amazing, absolutely supportive, and thank you so much. Obviously, I will invite you to join them at morning tea and at lunches. Many of them have booths. Many of their people are here. Please engage and take the opportunity. To our over 100 speakers who are sharing their insights, their knowledge, and their capability. So many educators in the room. Education starts with the kids in front of me through to the people who are running boardrooms. Education is everywhere, and it's one of the reasons why we put on a program like this. And very finally, to the FSC Conference Committee and to the FSC team, we all know how hard we've worked doing the food tasting when required, stuffing bags when required, bringing people into the room when required, finding speakers when required. It's a labour of love, it's a labour of purpose, and this is your 2 days of exemplary activity. So a huge big thank you. So folks, in closing, have an awesome couple of days. Really look forward to connecting and chatting. I've seen so many people that I've only ever seen in 1D. It's now a 3D experience. We can actually hug each other, chat with each other, take the piss out of each other. It's all wonderful. And with that, let me pass you back to Vanya and David. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Rob. Ever constants in this changing world. We're moving into the conference program proper now. We're going to rip through this because we're a little bit behind time, but we'll make this as quick as we can. So, look, following on from the brilliant breakfast sessions we did have this morning, the focus of this conference is going to move here to the main platform, where we're going to welcome our political and regulatory leaders. Delegates, that's you guys, then get to choose between your various work streams in between the main platform sessions throughout the day.
And later on, the Gala Awards Dinner will celebrate the achievements of many in the industry. Loads of opportunities for networking there. We are so pleased to have the whole industry represented here. It's a complete go-to for financial services networking. And just a reminder that all sessions are on the public record.
Right, now for a bit of admin mahi. Let's deal with the housekeeping. The information desk is located in the lower pre-function space, just outside the main room through there. If you've got any questions, please see the team there. Fire escapes, you'll probably get the signal for when that happens, are out the main door again, straight through past the information desks and accumulate on City Road. Toilets, the bathrooms are located in the expo area. Just go to the right as you exit this room there. There's also another set just past the information desk on the left out there. If you really must, there is a smoking area outside in the lower lobby of the hotel on City Road.
tag in. And everyone should now have access to the conference app. There's lots of information about that on the screens. If you are having any difficulty viewing the link, please see the team at the information desk.
Right, and so everyone should also have received a bag, which includes a number of goodies from our generous sponsors. Thank you very much. Make sure that you put your Money Talks cards to good use. 50 money conversations that apparently every woman should have. Thanks to the FSC for supplying those. Your exhibition lounge, please acquaint yourself with the various exhibitors out in the pre-function space. All teas, coffees, lunches, etc. will be served outside in that area. Our sponsors and partners have loads of information and a few competitions for you to enter. So go and say hello, see what they've got on offer. We also have the Made in New Zealand marketplace. Again, just opposite where you came in, opposite the grab bag area. Please go and check out some of the amazing produce and crafts we've got for sale there.
And outside this room and on the left, you'll find Tech Alley. So that's a showcase of startup companies across FinTech, InsurTech and EduTech. Do go and check them out. We're very proud to be supporting Voices of Hope, the FSC Conference charity partner, and you'll hear from co-founder Genevieve Mora tomorrow morning. And Voices of Hope are doing amazing things for mental health here in New Zealand. You can help by donating and contributing to the Lego wall that's in the expo area. So go and have a look. We really want to reach our total of $10,000. FPOS is available. Thanks in advance for your generosity. And thank you very much to our kind sponsors. Events like this just can't happen without their generous support. So Wi-Fi access is by connecting to Cordis Wi-Fi, password FSC22. Details on the back of your lanyard. There will be CPD points for the conference and an email will be sent out after the event. Please wear your name badges at all times for networking and for security purposes. Later on, we have the much anticipated Gala Dinner, and that takes place in this room. So we will finish as close as we can to 5:15 so that you have some time to get ready, and don't forget to accessorise with your wristbands.
Right, looking forward to that. But first, we've got the work streams that you're all looking forward to do your work before you get to dance. They will be taking place just in the various rooms as detailed in your app. They're all out that way as you exit, go around there. It's a bit of a mish to try and find the gallery room, but just follow your nose and the well-posted sign marks to get you there. And make sure that you pre-register for those sessions so we know who's there.
And, you know, just reflecting on those fabulous breakfast sessions this morning before we move to the big ticket event next on our program. So there was a fabulous Women in Super discussion described as a kai and korero, and that was really focusing on the quest for more gender parity in leadership roles in financial services. We had Pitch Perfect, where the participants of Tech Alley pitched their innovations to the audience and a panel of judges. Congratulations to the winners, who will share those winning pitches later today. And the hot topics of the day in financial services were discussed in a leading lawyers panel.